They say the oceans rise like
So MLB All-Star Weekend, it's not even a weekend. Like they made
No,
it
it's
to where it was a
weird.
Monday and a
Monday,
Monday and
Wednesday,
Tuesday,
Tuesday, Wednesday. No, Monday, Tuesday. You're right. Today's
Monday,
Wednesday.
Tuesday. But overall, I really liked the weekend. Like
Yeah,
because it was the first year that
yeah,
it was the first year that they basically did a they incorporated the draft with All-Star Weekend. So I found it like really intriguing, at least that it was like a
yeah,
week. It was an event rather than we're just in for the home run derby and the All-Star game, then we're out.
yeah.
Um,
There was a lot to
so
pay
that was
attention
neat.
to in the majors this last couple days.
Yeah. And we're gonna get to that today. We're gonna get to UFC 264. This is the A Sports Podcast. My name's Amir. That's Brant. Moro has died. He is deceased from Italy winning the Euro,
Yeah,
and he is no longer with us. We are sorry.
he's internally deceased. I don't think you'll see that kid for months.
Yeah. So, are we gonna talk about the Euro? Probably not. Maybe a little. It'll be Brant's like his whole half of analysis on watching the Euro, and mine of like I'm watching, but like
It's on.
it's on, it's on.
It's
I
on for
watched
sure.
it,
Yeah,
but mostly it's gonna be MLB All Star Weekend and UFC 264, and that's gonna be the bulk of the show. But I mean, last night, one of the most majestic home runs I've ever seen
oh,
by
oh,
Mike Zanino.
yeah. Just an absolute piss missile after they were talking about his power too.
Yeah.
Just they're like, oh, how does an under 100 or under 200 hitter get into the All Star game? Well, he's got pop, and then just bang out it goes. I'm like, hey, he's got pop for sure.
Obviously, that's not the home
No,
run that we're referring to.
no.
We're referring to the just majestic bomb that Vladimir Guerrero
That
Jr.
JT
hit.
Real Muto hit.
Oh, oh we're gonna keep going with all the other home runs.
There's only three, right? I think that was it.
I think so. But so Vlad Jr. like we as a Jays fan, I was happy that Vlad didn't do the home run derby because that
Because it sucks.
it clearly zaps your energy going into the second half of the season,
And
and
it changes your swing. Like it's a completely different
100%.
mental game for the rest of the season because you're so used to trying to just hit fly balls the entire time. You kind of screw yourself. Like it's happened to a lot of guys. So I'm not too disappointed that he didn't go and the fact that Shohei went.
Well, yeah, in trying to get Vlad MVP.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
but like if you look at it, if you look at the home run derby, you saw like a guy like Juan Soto. He clearly changed his swing because he's a guy that
He changed
He
his
just-
stance.
exactly.
He
That's
was standing up, like
And he's-
virtually
'cause
standing
he-
straight up to hit home
exactly,
runs, which
exactly.
is insane. But
So as a Jays fan, love that he didn't
Love it.
didn't participate in the home run derby
problem with it.
because he had his own last night where he hit just an absolute bomb.
he hit a home run derby level home run in the
Yeah.
All-Star game. Like
He was 7
insane.
feet shy of reaching the bonus with that
What's
home run.
the
I
bonus
saw.
is
475.
75. Yeah, he hit 468, which is the longest home run in All-Star game history since they've tracked it.
Wild.
Insane.
And also he's the third father son to hit a home run in the All-Star game since I guess Ken Griffey Jr.
the Griffies and then
Senior
the
and then
I
the
think
Bonzes.
The Bonzes were the last to do it, but
Were they? I don't know.
yeah, because Barry played after Griffey, right?
Griffey.
I think.
I mean,
So,
depends. And then even in his first at bat against future Blue Jay Max Scherzer, where he almost takes his head off,
dude,
and then he just gives him a hug
Max
on the way back.
Scherzer was literally 3 inches away from death. That was
Yeah.
111 miles an hour off the bat, and that thing almost hit the brim of his hat. Like, that's just oof. Insane. I'm glad he didn't get hit with that because we were talking about it, and it's just like that might have ended the game. If that connects with Max Scherzer in the face and he goes down hard, you might have called the game at that point because it's an exhibition game. You don't need to finish it. Who cares? But like, I'm glad it didn't because that would have been ugly as hell. But you saw his personality and how much people love him. Just like the big hug to Max Scherzer after. And
Yeah.
like, his whole energy, like during the game, and the way people interacted with Vlad Jr. is just incredible.
And then you saw like during his second at bat when they were interviewing Fernando Tatis Jr. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was cool altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see him talking. You hear Tatis talking about his grandmother keeping everyone happy and healthy, and then he just hits this bomb. Like it was. I think I've watched like. So I finished working out this morning, and I watched for like half an hour just the home run, just watching the home. Okay, relax.
Yeah, just the.
I literally just.
Watching the home run over and over and over, it's just like it doesn't get any worse. It just keeps getting better every time you watch it.
No,
It's
exactly.
great.
And then you see like the different angles and the guys on the bench going nuts, and you see like Simeon in the background. You see Teoscar and Bo do their celebration with him. Like it was a very wholesome weekend for Blue Jays fans.
Bo running in front of the entire All-Star bench too, just like he owns the place. No problem. Here I come. This is my world. I love that. It's so great. I wish I knew how to speak Spanish to know what the hell Tatis said to him as a rounding second there.
Oh my god, Joe Buck, love him for at least asking Tatis to say something to him. You got to ask him what you said.
Yeah,
and then what he said back. Like that's the key.
Yeah. I don't know what he said there. Maybe he was chirping him. Maybe not. Like they yip each other a lot, but like it's not like hostile. It's just like friendly chirps. They like each other. They're friends. It's evident. Yeah. I'd love to know what he said to him on the way around. Because later on, Vlad was chirping Tatis. He was just like doing curls at him. He was just like, yeah, hit the weight room, dude.
Oh, because Tatis basically missed 2 home runs during the All-Star game.
So it's just like they have that friendly relationship where they'll chirp each other back and forth. So I'd love to know what he said in Spanish to Vlad.
Agreed.
It's hilarious.
But it was just really cool overall just seeing like the Blue Jays have their first star since Josh Donaldson, but Josh Donaldson wasn't our own star.
No.
You know what I mean?
This might be the first homegrown star.
George
Bell? We drafted George Bell, right?
I mean, Roy Halladay.
Yeah, fair.
But the thing is, people were gravitating to go to the ballpark on every 5th day. That's cool.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I'm going and I'm seeing this guy every day in and day out.
No, exactly. Pitchers are a different type of star, right? Like you don't really get the everyday thing with starting pitchers that you do with guys like Vlad, where they're playing. You show up, they're going to be in the game regardless, unless they're taking a day off. But it's not. He doesn't, right? So it's different. I think the last position player star that we've homegrown. I could be wrong on George Bell, but I think it would be George Bell, like realistically.
Mm-hmm. Which, like, I mean, Vernon Wells. He was homegrown, right?
Yeah, but he never.
He was one of the most overrated contracts. He got one of the worst contracts ever. And then to then see alongside him Bo. Like it's special because you talked yourself into this core coming into the future, like 3, 4, 5 years ago, when they were in their last playoff run. And you're like, oh, just wait until these guys come up, and now they're finally here. And it makes you optimistic for what is going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
And like, how much do you just say, hey, we have these guys on League Min right now. Let's go for it and go get some more guys.
Spend the money while we have it, basically.
Spend the money and spend like, it's tough because you don't want to overextend yourself in terms of like trading prospects before your timeline. Like you don't want to trade a Groshans and he's actually going to be he would realistically
stud.
Exactly. Well, he would fit the timeline and be a part of your future.
Yeah.
But like a guy like Nate Pearson, if you're so somehow Shane Bieber is available apparently.
Dude, everyone on Cleveland is available apparently. I don't understand. Other than Jose Ramirez, it seems.
Nate Pearson can go if that gets me Shane Bieber. Dude, are you kidding me?
If Shane Bieber's in a package, I'm like, there's not many people that are untouchable. Like I would dangle.
Lourdes can go.
I would almost dangle Austin Martin at that point if you're looking at a guy like Shane Bieber.
Agreed.
I think Austin Martin's going to be a stud, but Shane Bieber is already a stud, and he's one of the best pitchers in the majors. I can't see anyone being untouchable in a trade like that.
Exactly. It was cool to see the Jays finally have an All-Star MVP.
Yeah, youngest ever.
Right.
Just like to point out, youngest All-Star MVP ever in the history.
And youngest to hit a home run in the All-Star game.
Not sure.
If I'm pretty sure that they said that. Yeah.
Unreal, man.
200th home run in All-Star game history. Like,
Just a stud.
you shake your head and you're just like, holy shit, he's ours and he's here. Like, this is nuts.
Was really nice that it happened on a day where a lot of the storyline is about Shohei Ohtani too. He just talks like everyone talks so much about this guy. And
which honestly,
it. He's a unicorn.
Rightfully so.
He's
rightfully
a unicorn, and what he can do is crazy. But there's other guys that are, I would say, more talented at the plate than he is, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is one of them, and he showed it off, and good for him. Respect the hell out of it. I think Shohei's good.
I think Shohei is great. I really, after everything that happened with, like, you heard Stephen A. Smith's comments about him. Like, I just thought it was ridiculous. And, I mean, we don't really have to go into it that much. Mm-hmm. But what I will say is, his first apology might have been weak. Mm-hmm. Like, because he just threw it out on Twitter and whatever. Yeah. But, like, he's been consistently apologizing. He went on TV and he did, like, eloquent, like, long forms, which I'm like, that's great. What irritates me is that Rachel Nichols did a 30-second fucking bullshit apology, and then she's allowed to skate on by. That has me annoyed.
I think the thing with Stephen A's brand in general is just like he skates that line so tight. Like he's gonna say stupid shit now and then, and like this is the first time where he said something that like borders on the racist side of things.
He's the Conor McGregor of ESPN.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Like, that type of like. He says some shit that's just like, what the hell are you talking about? Like 80% of the time. And this is the first time. Like his point, like I see what he's trying to get at in terms of like growth. It's not even a growth of the game thing. Like if you're looking for a guy to represent your sport, you wouldn't hate him being able to speak the language where it's originating in. Like I see his point there. But in terms of growth of the game, I'm watching Shohei Ohtani for what he does on the field. I don't give a shit what like my favorite player in the Blue Jays right now can barely speak English.
Yeah,
not a lick. So
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't mean shit.
Here's how it made no sense. Who's been the face of baseball for the past decade? Mike Trout. Maybe. When the fuck have you ever heard him say anything? Never.
He did like one interview, I think, and that was it.
What memorable thing has Mike Trout ever said? Ever in his career?
Everything memorable about Mike Trout has been on the field. I cannot tell you one thing that Mike Trout has done.
Yeah, even the catch in Baltimore that he had. That was cool.
That's it. Like
other than that, I can't even tell you anything.
Even like bench stuff. Like at least Tatis does a lot of stuff. Like all his bat flips and the chain that they wear with Machado and all that. Like,
the diving
all that
catch.
Stuff, all of that stuff is kind of like not technically in the game stuff, but it just makes you that presence that like you want to watch because he does all this cool stuff. Yeah, Mike Trout doesn't have that. Like he doesn't. He does really great things on the field, and that's all he does. He's vanilla
Mike Trout
as hell.
He's vanilla. He's white bread. That is Mike Trout, and like.
That's fine.
If you're talking, but if you're talking about growing the game, that's the guy that you got.
No.
Well, no, but that's like, how are you going to say it's a race thing? Meanwhile, you have a guy he hasn't done anything on the exact same team, and the growth has been, he's the greatest player of all time, except he hasn't done anything, but he's white, so we won't say anything. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
I still think he's the greatest player of all time. His talent is unmatched, but in terms of growing the game, he doesn't have it. Like
no,
in order to grow the game, you got to be like just above everyone else in terms of like everything. Like Mike Trout is far and away better than everyone else in terms of baseball play. Like he's got that for him. Shohei Ohtani's not necessarily better than everyone else in terms of the way he plays the game, but he does both those things, and nobody else can do that. And it's insane that he can do both. Whether or not he's that type of Fernando Tatis, Ronald Acuna thing, but
I can firmly say that Shohei Ohtani, by the end of his career, will have grown the game more than Mike Trout. Period. End of story.
I agree, but I think that's just it. Like, you don't have the personality with Mike Trout to grow the game, and I think you've seen that. Like, baseball's hitting some of the best ratings it's ever had, and I think that speaks a lot more to what guys like Tatis and Ohtani and Acuna and Tim Anderson, even, I think you put in there, Nick Castellanos, Vlad, obviously, like guys like that. I think it speaks more to what they do for the game as opposed to guys that are just incredible at the stuff that we love to see, like as baseball fans. Like, that's great. But if you're trying to grow it, you need guys like them that are showing you cooler things like bat flips and just all-out swag on the field that just make you invigorated with what they're doing.
Absolutely. So the overall point was stupid because no one's been doing anything to grow the game in the last decade. Like,
the game's being grown more now than it's ever been. Realistically.
Right, because you have the young guys. They flip their bats. They do everything cool. Like, it's a. How many first-time All-Stars were there last night? Like, it was unreal to count. How many of them were under 25 or 24?
Like one-star things on the back too. I'm like, there's so many guys. Marcus Semien was a first-time All-Star.
First-time All-Star. Wild.
Crazy, man. Like, just
he was third in MVP voting in 2019, and he didn't even make the All-Stars.
That's so nuts to me.
Unreal.
But yeah, just so many young guys like that are just this new cream of crop of
cream of crop.
Cream of the crop? That's what I'm looking for? I don't even know what I'm looking for there. This new crop of guys that are just coming in and just way better than everyone else. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, no, just this new group of guys that are coming in just like better than everyone else at like 20-something years old. And they are what the game is right now. It's not even Mike Trout. Mike Trout's hurt, obviously, but even when Mike Trout's in, like, nobody's really tuning in to watch Mike Trout, even though it sounds insane to say.
I think what was cool about this season and this weekend, I think it really ushers in the fact that it's not his league anymore.
No. He's the best player in it, but it's not his league.
Which is a great thing for baseball. Like, it really is. It genuinely is. Sorry, but Mike Trout isn't good for the game. Like, okay, Mike Trout being the best player in baseball isn't good for the game. Shohei Ohtani being the best player in baseball, that actually is. Cool. Because no one's ever seen it before. It doesn't matter that he doesn't speak English.
He doesn't even have to be the best. He can just be
he just be this.
He can do what he's doing now and just be great at both.
Okay, but the thing is, as much as I love Vlad, what he's doing right now, he's the best player in baseball.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to have this conversation with you, and I didn't write it down, and I forgot. I really liked what John Smoltz said last night.
Okay.
What he basically said that what Shohei Ohtani is doing is the equivalent of Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders playing two sports.
Right.
Because Deion played football and baseball, obviously, and then yeah, exactly. They both did.
Yeah.
But Shohei's playing two different sports. Pitching and hitting are completely different.
Two completely different games. Yeah.
So, like, I genuinely think that it's incredible. The fact that he's starts the All-Star game and then leads off as well. Like, this is it's truly something that we'll never see again in our lifetime, probably.
You might get a couple guys that look up
now.
I want to do that. Yeah.
Now, and then I will directly say that is his impact.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, it's his impact. The fact that he changed baseball in this way, that he's the first guy to basically do it to this well since Babe Ruth, and like the guy's 26, and let's see how far he can go with it.
I'm surprised with technology today and like the way the game's played and stuff. I'm surprised there's not more people that do this. Like, I know like Brendan McKay was a name that is coming up still that can do this. Not to this extent, obviously.
But he was, yeah.
Like, there's a couple other guys that came up through college and then stopped. But like, I'm surprised there's not more, because you grow up your entire life, even if you're a pitcher, you grow up playing both. Like, it's not like you have off days where you do nothing as a pitcher. Like, you're gonna play a position, you're gonna do that. I'm surprised there's not more guys that bring, I think, some sort of two-way play.
I think that's what makes Shohei so incredible, is the fact that with all these guys, like you're talking about Brendan McKay, I think Hunter Green, when the Reds drafted him, he was a hitter and also a pitcher.
Yeah.
They make these guys in the minors have to focus on one because it's going to be the best for their development.
Right.
And then as they come up, they get better and better in that one facet. And then once they reach
the other one.
And well, it's just not good for the development. Like, because they know that if they do both, they're not going to be as good as they can possibly be.
Right.
And sure, it's the same thing with Shohei in that if he focused on one, he would probably be better than he currently is. But he's elite at both. So what are you going to say?
I don't even know if you can put up the argument that he would be better if he did one or the other, because he's done that in like the last 2 years, and he was only one, and he wasn't.
It's all he knows. It's all he knows. Right?
He's better when he does both. Like, he just,
which is incredible.
It's insane.
Because you'd think he'd be gassed.
Yeah, he's the strangest athlete to me because he doesn't take batting practice. He's never taken batting practice in his major league career. So
the fact that he can just go out,
he just goes out there and takes
swing.
batting practice as in his first at bat. Like that's his batting practice. It's just insane to me that like he pitches, he hits, but he doesn't practice it. He just goes out and does it, which is like
he's Allen
raw
Iverson.
talent.
He's Allen Iverson.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. That part blows my mind. I think he's a little overrated in what he actually does on the field, but the fact that he can do both is just mind blowing. It's insane. He does it both at an elite level.
Right.
But it's not.
I think he's not the best pitcher in baseball. He's not the best hitter in baseball. But the fact that he can do both,
yeah, it's crazy.
It makes him so valuable. Like, I can't put into words how incredible it is.
He didn't deserve to be an all-star as a pitcher. It might be hot.
I agree.
But his numbers weren't that good. Like he was
voted in by the fans. No, he was voted in by the fans. Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't as a pitcher. He was voted in as a DH, and then the coaches decided to make him a pitcher as well. So I don't really like. It's fine.
I'm pretty sure they voted. Didn't they vote him in, or is it only the lineup that they vote on?
Yeah, you only vote on the starters, and then the pitchers are voted in by the coaches, I think. So, like, he's a good pitcher, and the fact that he is such a great hitter and can be at least an above-average pitcher is nuts. But like I think the expectations on him as a pitcher need to be a little bit lower than what they are because people just you come out with this attitude like, oh, he's one of the best pitchers in the game and one of the best hitters in the game. He could be one of the best hitters in the game, I think. I don't like the way he plays as a hitter, but he hits a shit ton of home runs and he hits balls really hard. But in terms of pitching, like he's an above average guy and he gets it done he'd be a great 2-3. I don't know. He's never going to be a 1-2 unless he steps it up a little more. But he always has these outings where you're like, that was interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's the fact that he can do both.
But the fact that he goes out there, hits 33 home runs, and then comes out and he's your 2-3 starter is insane.
I can't stop gushing about the guy. Like, I really can't. Because the detriment of these Japanese hitters that come over is they say, they don't have a swing that translates. And you see how Shohei a lot, like him and Ichiro kind of have the same, like they're kind of like already running before they're hitting, and they're out in front of the baseball.
Yeah, it's that like running out of the box, just throw the bat at it,
right,
and get a hit.
And it's insane that he can hit for as much power as he does. Like I just think I think it's incredible. Like we're really not going to see this ever again.
I doubt it. Yeah. We might.
And,
I mean, maybe like near the end of our lives, but like there's nobody that's coming through right now that you're like, yeah, they can.
And the thing is, like the thing that worries me is the fact that because he's doing both, it's going to be so taxing, and who knows if he'll ever be healthy. Because that was the thing early on in his career, he was never going to be able to be healthy. And then like doing the home run derby is not going to help you. I don't wish that he gets injured because I want him and Vlad. Like, let's just go at it
for the game, and he needs to be playing, but. As a Vlad fan,
okay.
Hey, if he misses a week or two, give Vlad a chance to catch up. I'm not opposed. Take some time off, recover from the derby. He has nothing to recover from. He only went one round.
Oh, you want to talk about the derby now?
I absolutely want to talk about the derby.
Okay, shoot.
That first round with Shohei Ohtani and Juan Soto was great.
It was great. I only watched it after. I missed the jury.
It was so great. Shohei didn't win, and I was just like,
No.
Vlad made it to the finals. Hey, it's not Shohei's event, and I don't think it ever will be. Like I totally gapped on the fact.
I wish it was.
I gapped on the fact that he doesn't take batting practice because that is exactly what the home run derby is. It's just like a glorified batting practice for big and strong guys. And if you're not doing that every day, it's really hard to just step in and go, okay, let me take 50 swings right now and try and hit one out.
50 swings that aren't your normal swing.
Yeah, let me try and lift 50 balls into the third deck for 3 minutes. It's not a thing. You could tell he was gassed, like absolutely gassed by the time the halfway mark of his thing came up. When he took that timeout, he needed every second of that timeout. Like he was panting on his hands and knees. Like it was tough for him. So it was like you get Juan Soto in there, and I don't think Juan Soto's a pure home run hitter the way a lot of these guys are, but he's a pure hitter, and he knew how to hit home runs in batting practice, and he showed it. And once it came down to the swing off, where he got to pick which balls he wanted to leave the yard, he did it all effortlessly. And then Shohei came in. He's just like, I don't know what to hit out at the yard, so I'm just going to swing at pitches I like, and then took one into the ground because it's a tough thing to do, man. The other story I want to talk about in there, well, one of two more, but Trey Mancini.
What a performance!
That might be the story of the year so far. Like the whole Shohei thing.
He wasn't named an All-Star, correct? Like
no,
it was the Vlad thing of like they wanted him there. It's a really great story. Obviously, what was it? Pancreatic cancer? Colon cancer that he was diagnosed with last year, and basically a year removed, he's back playing baseball, and he was a great. Was he an All-Star level player? He was a great player.
He could have been an All-Star, realistically. I think if he didn't play on Baltimore, he would have been an All-Star. But great
player, great guy, like
such a likable dude. That's the other thing with him. Like the story itself is great, but like Trey Mancini as a person is such an incredible person. Like it's just
Did you see during the All-Star game, during like the 6th or 7th inning, they have the stand up to cancer thing, and I don't know if you saw Vladdy wrote he stands for I was just like cool.
There's a couple guys that did it, but it's just unbelievable, man. Just you go into that night too thinking like Trey Mancini's gonna have a cool first round, big story, great.
Right, I was like, Matt Olson's gonna dust him.
Matt Olson's got pop. Like that seems like his event. And then Trey Mancini goes out and pops out 24. You're like, he's got a chance.
And this is after Trey Mancini started off slow in the first in the first couple minutes, and then he
took a timeout with 2:07 left. 53 seconds into his round, he had to take the timeout. It was insane. And then pops off 24 and beats Matt Olson. You're like, oh wow, that's all right. Joey Gallo's going to get him in the next round. And then Joey Gallo gets put out, and you're like, oh, well this is anyone's game now. So then Trey Mancini just walks his way into the finals, and you're like, that's great. But there's an absolute animal on the other side of the bracket in Pete Alonso. Yeah. And I feel so bad for Salvador Perez because of it.
Like Pete Alonso, hilarious because this event is made for him. But also, I don't know if you saw the memes of Pete Alonso's just dancing. Meanwhile, a kid just tore his ACL, shagging balls in the outfield.
Physically carried off the field.
And then he's beating a cancer survivor in the final round, and all he can do is fucking bob and vibe. Like, holy, what the fuck?
Absolute fiend, just incredible. But like, no disrespect to him, because what he did was phenomenal. Like, shows up there in his first round, pops out 34 just because.
How are you?
Just effortlessly. I think he hit like 34 in a row. Like, I don't think he ever didn't hit one out in that first round. And then he sits down to do an interview.
And his coach that was just peppering balls down the middle.
He put every ball in this square this big.
Incredible.
The graphic of where he put those BP pitches was incredible. Like, that's not doable by anyone. But Pete sits down for this interview after his round while Salvador Perez is hitting 28 home runs. They don't mention Sal once. They're just talking to Pete about his bat because he's not going to catch him. Like, it's insane. But Sal's putting on a show. He had the second best round of the night. But hey, forget Salvador Perez because Pete Alonso is just going to head bob his way to the title again. It was insane, man. Just watching Pete. And then he comes into that last one, and he has the bonus round. He needs like 6 to beat Trey Mancini. Just took 6 swings, 6 bombs away he went, and it was just like effortless. I was just in awe the entire time because that guy could have went out after that home run derby and beat 8 more guys in a home run derby. It was just, he was still ready to go, still could have done 3 more rounds, no problem. And he's just like, yeah, I got this, no problem. Insane. It's too bad he can't do that in a game.
Yeah. Black can.
There's your difference. He was talking after too, and he goes, I think I'm the best power hitter in the game, and this just proves it. I'm like, no, Pete, that's not what man.
How can you be the best power hitter in the game and you don't even hit for that? Okay, he hits for power, but like he's not that great.
There's so many guys that are doing more than
Shohei's like, hold my beer. Vlad is like, hold my beer. Get the fuck out of here.
Buddy, you are the greatest batting practice hitter I've ever seen. Like, in terms of derby performances, that guy is probably at the top.
Aaron Judge who?
Yeah, no. It's just Pete Alonso because he was unbelievable. Like, he's putting up numbers that you've never seen. But in terms of in-game stuff, you got a long way to go before you think you can consider yourself in that fucking conversation.
Right. Is that all we got for All-Star Weekend?
I think so.
Okay.
Did you see Bo's outfit?
I did. Wasn't he wearing like a sweater
He's
T-shirt?
wearing like shorts and like a sweater T-shirt. There's like was it Prada? Fendi? I don't know, some big name brand T-shirt.
Okay.
And then like some shorts. And then like the weirdest looking Go Fast sunglasses you ever seen. Just like, hey, this kid's got style, man. Doesn't dress up too nice, but he's got style. It's hilarious.
Okay, so I think it was House of Highlights that asked MLB players what's harder to do, hit a half-court shot or a 100-mile-an-hour pitch, and baseball players were just lasting.
Half-court shot won in the poll that they did.
Right.
How, man?
Me and you could hit a half-court shot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what? I forget who it was that might have been Mullins that they asked, but they're just like, which one's harder? And he goes, man, I could hit a half-court shot when I was 8 years old. I can barely hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even comparable. Like, how?
No.
Some people that just never played baseball don't understand. It's so much harder than it looks.
Like, you could maybe nick. Like, you could get
I think that's the thing.
a 100-mile-an-hour thing, but you're not getting solid contact.
No, I think that's the thing. Is like a lot of people hear like hitting a baseball and they think like just getting a bat on it and making contact with it. Like when I hear hitting a baseball, I think getting a hit, like actually putting one in a spot where you're not going to ground out to the fucking second baseman or something. Mm-hmm. Like that's when I think of hitting a baseball. Like I could stick my bat out and have Aroldis Chapman hit it. That doesn't mean I can get a hit off of Aroldis Chapman. Like it's so different.
Exactly. I just thought it was ridiculous and like
it was so funny.
Anyone can hit a half-court shot. Not anyone can time up hitting a baseball.
No.
And especially not at 100 miles per hour.
No. God. I would argue that more people could hit a half-court shot than people can hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah.
Because I've tried. Like I've played guys that threw like mid-90s and it's fucking hard. And like I played baseball for 20 years. Like it's a little different.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Okay. Let's get to UFC 264.
All right.
Oh, I wrote out stuff that I want to say.
I'm not that prepared.
So Saturday was UFC 264, obviously headlined by Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, the trilogy. And in round one, the fight looked a lot like last fight. It really did.
I don't know if it did. I think Conor was better in round one of the last one.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I think there was a takedown in both fights, correct? So at the start of the round, Conor looks good on the feet, and then he gets taken down with like 3 minutes left, and Dustin is mauling him.
Yeah, he tries to go for the guillotine too, which was just boneheaded.
Yeah.
Like I think
guillotine, the guy that his thing is the guillotine.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I think he got too, I don't like, almost cocky in the sense that like I'm gonna beat him the way he wouldn't expect. Is what it looked like his game plan was there. Like he didn't want to just knock him out. He wanted to embarrass him, so he went for the guillotine. And you're not beating him like that.
Hold on, but earlier on in the week, remember when I texted you? Conor was literally like, I don't count submissions or taps.
Yeah.
I only count knockouts. I have one knockout in me fucking career.
Yeah.
Shut the I genuinely hate this man.
Because
like, okay, he's fun. He's a entertaining fighter, but he's such a piece of shit. Oh my god.
Human. Terrible human.
Yeah.
Terrible human. But he's what your sport needs.
Yeah, because he's redundant as fuck. How are you gonna say, yeah, I have only lost one fight ever in my career. Meanwhile, you got like 5 losses or something, or like 4, maybe. I don't know. Regardless, but then you go for the attempt yourself. Like what? If you win that way, it's fine.
Dumb. I honestly think he just wanted to beat him in his own game, which you can't do that. Like fight your own, the way you know how, and the way that you're good at.
Whether it's that or he just straight up went, in the moment he's like, okay, let me do this, and he thought short-sightedly and did it. It was stupid either way.
Dumb. The worst game plan to come up with.
Yeah. Then even on the ground,
catch him a couple times early in that round. I'm like, okay, this could be a fight. And then as soon as he went for the guillotine, his whole round just went to shit. But
yeah. So then Connor is being a dirtbag on the ground like he always is. He can never fight clean. He didn't fight clean with Khabib. He's always put his foot in the cage to try to get. And Herb Dean, who also did that fight, didn't say anything.
yeah.
He warned Connor, but nothing happened. But in this fight, you can see in the replays when Dustin goes to complain because Connor's grabbing his inside of his gloves and up kicking him like, well, he's doing illegal shit. And
he
still
caught
nothing.
him with those up kicks too. Like they weren't.
Yeah.
They weren't soft.
Exactly. So he's just being a dirtbag that way, and then you see, obviously he lets Connor back up. Connor then they exchange punches, and then I think that he hit him, and then he misstepped when he was trying to load. I don't know.
He might have caught him earlier, but it wasn't hard enough to actually wobble him. But like, they both went for a punch and both missed, and then like came back, and then when he went to go
To load
back
again.
for another one,
Yeah,
that shin just exploded.
I think it was femur or something. It
Something
cracked
was,
like
it was definitely it wasn't ankle. Like a lot of people were saying ankle. It was definitely above the ankle
yeah.
because you could see the bone
Yep.
against the mat. And
Yeah,
I'm like, "Ooh,
yeah.
his foot is hitting the back of his leg."
Right.
It was just awful. Like Conor McGregor's a bad person. But you don't wish that on anyone. That's just.
Meh.
I don't know what to say. I don't ever want to see that happen because
No, I don't like seeing it. I don't like seeing it because it's disgusting.
that, and it leaves you with such a bad taste in your mouth. Like that's such a shit way to win a fight.
Right.
Like losing it, obviously it sucks, but like I don't feel good about that win. Like I think Dustin could have crushed Conor easily.
I think so. I agree with that point. It leaves you without a definitive ending.
Yeah, it sucks.
But also then a part of me is like,
he would have won.
Connor wasn't winning that fight. Because
Yeah.
what is the MO for Connor? Starts out hot early, fades as the
Doesn't
fight
have
goes
it
on.
again. Right.
Connor would have gotten taken down again, and Dustin would have mauled him. Like it would have been the same thing as the Khabib fight. Like
Sure.
it was a matter of time.
But like we don't know is the problem. It's like you can't definitively say like this would have happened because who knows, man? Maybe Conor catches him and that's the end of the fight, right? Like it's one of those things like it could have happened, but now we'll never know because his shin just decided he didn't want to fight anymore. Like I know Dustin's not going to give him a fourth fight. Like he has no reason to give him a fourth fight. You think? I know he's talking a lot of shit about him, but I don't.
Okay. Do you want to get into this, or you want to get into what happened after?
What is the other option?
I mean, when Connor was on the ground, just being.
I kind of want to know what part of this is true.
What?
Like whether or not Connor's actually telling the truth about this whole wife thing, or like he's just being a dick.
I mean, it was probably about. It was probably about like the donation that Connor never gave him.
Oh, maybe.
That's definitely what it was about. No, shut the fuck up.
I want to know.
I did. Okay,
he ended up
but
giving him the donation eventually too, but like.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
They said on the broadcast that he did.
Nope.
He just did it late.
He donated to a different charity
in
a different county in Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah. So as a middle finger to Dustin, and Dustin's like, Dustin, the good guy's like, it's going to charity.
Yeah.
It's going to charity in Louisiana. Like,
yeah.
It's not mine that he lied, but like, yeah, it's gonna help people. So like,
Dustin's a great guy.
Great guy, and then you have Connor being a fucking asshole.
I hope for Dustin's sake that Connor's lying. Because
oh my god, this isn't even a thing, Brant. Why?
Because like Dustin's just way too nice.
Yeah.
If his wife sucks.
Okay, hold on. Did you not see what Dustin's wife Jolie did?
No.
Giving Connor the fucking finger?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, but like anyone can play that out.
Yeah, but it was just awesome.
Yeah.
Like
it was great.
They were calling her thug wife. after Thug Rose, not me, Eunice. Thought that was great.
I want to see him. I want to see Dustin actually win. I don't want to. I hate that it
Okay,
ended.
so let's
this
talk.
way.
Let's talk about
Hate
this. Can we agree? Okay, we can agree. Dustin Poirier's next fight is against Charles Oliveira for the lightweight belt.
Should be.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Okay, we all agree.
Mhm.
How can you justify if Dustin Poirier wins that? How can you justify a fourth fight with Conor McGregor,
can't.
giving him?
You can't. A title shot?
Do you know how many wins Conor McGregor has in the lightweight division? One against Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah.
5 years ago?
At least, right? It's been a
Yeah.
while.
It's been a long time. So like, okay. Conor has different rules and it's bullshit.
What division was Cowboy?
Cowboy, they fought at 170.
Oh, did they? Okay, never mind. Yeah, I don't know.
And which it's Cowboy, so
Like,
who gives a shit?
See,
Look,
it's a
okay,
weird
okay.
it's a weird situation because he doesn't deserve a title fight, but I think you want to make another Dustin and Conor fight.
It's because it's the biggest fight.
Yeah, but
What
he
I
doesn't
would say,
deserve it.
what I would say is, you tell Conor, go get healthy,
Mhm.
go do.
Chandler, I think, is a fun one.
I would do Nate 3.
I don't want to see him fight Nate anymore.
Well, everyone wants to see it still.
Nate's
It's still the
so
biggest
washed.
fight, but it's still the biggest fight.
Yeah,
Nate Diaz might be the second biggest draw in the UFC.
which is insane because he sucks. He's
He's
not
just
a good
fun.
fighter anymore. He's just
He's fun.
He's just an entertaining guy.
Entertaining. He's an entertaining fighter. Okay, you know who's also not a great fighter?
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, exactly. So just let them fucking do this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd rather see him fight someone that actually matters, just to see if he can still fight people that actually.
I don't think that you can do that. Okay.
I think
Khabib talked about this.
I don't
Khabib
think
talked about
Michael
this today.
Chandler deserves anything other than Conor McGregor.
I think
what has
Mike-
Michael Chandler done in the UFC that he just gets fights all of a sudden?
I mean, okay. The Dan Hooker knockout was good. That was it. That was really good.
And then he had a title fight.
Okay. But he was good in that title fight. Like I
a
rewatched
round.
the fight. I rewatched that fight and like I'm not saying they could have stopped that fight, but they could have definitely stopped that fight. And he could have been the
Still
Yep,
lost.
he did.
I don't understand. Like everyone else has to, like, look at Khabib. Khabib had to put in his dues. Makhachev's having to put in his dues. Every big name has had to put in their dues except for Michael Chandler. Even Conor. Like Conor had a bunch of fights before he got a title shot.
Okay, but him
Chandler
getting
had
this title
one.
shot, like that would be it. Okay, Conor has different rules. Like that's an absolute fact.
Yeah, I think he's earned it in terms of what he's done for the league.
I think because he's such a big draw, that obviously helps him. But also
just put him wherever.
Dana White dick rides for him. He does.
Because he makes him a lot of money.
He does. Okay, but we know that there's not a more Republican sport than the UFC.
True.
Sorry, NHL.
Donald Trump was
Sorry,
at
NHL.
Yeah, you came second. Tough. The white man sport. Donald Trump was literally at 264, like front and center, right there.
Right.
With
Addison Rae went up to.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Steve will do it. Posted a picture with him. Like
I think it's okay, but look, I think it's ridiculous that the UFC handcuffs their athletes, and then at the same time they'll bend their knee to Conor's every need.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And basically, okay. Dana White basically runs the UFC like Trump runs the country. Ran the country. Am I wrong? Not like a business, but he cares about the people that make him money.
Right.
As in Conor, and that's it.
I think it's fair.
But then he absolutely screws the rest of the fighters. Like he does.
A lot of them, yeah. There's a few guys.
Every
He has
one
a
of
couple
them.
guys. He has a few guys, but like a lot of them get screwed. Like there's no way Jorge should still be getting big time fights.
Masvidal, yeah, he should.
Jorge's
He should.
He's such an above average fighter, and he just continues to get the biggest pay per views possible. And like I think he deserves them anymore.
So coming out of this fight, I think that if you're Conor, it's the best situation possible for them in the UFC because you have a lot of fights that you can still do.
Mhm.
They're gonna do Dustin 4. they're going to. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
I don't think. I would love to say I
Dana
don't
White
think
said he
Dustin
is.
wants it.
Dana White said he is.
Really? I was gonna say I don't think. I would love to say Dustin doesn't want it, but I don't think Dustin minds putting millions of dollars in his pocket for 2 rounds.
Exactly.
Realistically,
So
even if he loses.
if you're Dustin, you're like, it's the biggest fight still. Who gives a who?
Why would I go and fight? He's a big guy that cares about the title, so that's a big thing for him. But like, why would he go fight Charles?
I don't think
Oliveira?
he does.
He does because he was bitching at Gaethje when he threw away the interim title. Do you remember that whole situation? Like he's like big about what the title represents. And stuff like that,
but he also said we're doing this Conor third fight over fighting for the belt.
Yeah. So I don't really know what he's a family guy, right?
Yeah,
and what's the better thing for his family, having a title or making a shit ton of money?
Mm-hmm.
I think
they're doing Conor 4. I think. Who do you think wins the fight now between Oliveira and Poirier? I think Oliveira's like a poor man's Khabib. I think.
Yeah,
slightly.
I don't really know what we consider Dustin Poirier at this point. Who has he beat lately? Like
Dustin?
He's beat a washed Conor twice, and I'm like, is Conor back and he's just really good in beating him, or is Conor just trash and he's just walking through him easily? Like I don't think Dustin's a bad fighter. Like Dustin's the number 1 contender right now. I agree with that. But like, what is Dustin Poirier right now?
Hold on. You realize that he's beaten Conor twice this year.
Yeah.
He beat Dan Hooker last year.
Okay.
Dan Hooker last year. Max Holloway.
Okay.
Lost to Khabib.
Everyone loses to Khabib.
Sorry. Yeah.
But like when
Justin Gaethje in 2018.
Okay.
Eddie Alvarez in 2018.
We're
Anthony
talking
Pettis
3
in
years
2017.
3 years.
Okay,
but
okay.
I still think he's great.
Okay. Talk about your boy Conor then.
Well, no, I'm not even that. Like, he just whipped the shit out of Conor, but like, did he whip the shit out of Conor because he's that good, or did he whip the shit out of Conor because Conor's that bad right now? Like, it's more of a question of what Conor is as opposed to whether or not Dustin's great.
But then you could say the same thing about Charles Oliveira, right? Like, his best wins are against Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson, and Kevin Lee.
Tony Ferguson's just not it anymore.
Exactly.
So, yeah. That's fair. I don't know. It'll be an interesting one between the two of them. I feel like if Conor is actually Conor and Dustin just kicked the shit out of him, then he's obviously the favorite.
You know who the loser is in all of this?
Justin Gaethje.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
the guy's the best fighter in that division.
Probably.
Realistically.
I think Dustin beats him. Because Dustin beat him last time.
That was a while. Justin Gaethje's not the same fighter that fought Poirier the last time.
Sure.
But I don't know. It's tough. I feel like Gaethje deserves another shot at the title. Like, just because he didn't beat one of the greatest of all time, he just all of a sudden just like falls off the face of the earth and never gets another chance. Like this is where I get a little confused. Like, why is Michael Chandler getting more opportunities than Justin Gaethje when Justin Gaethje's proven it time and time again? Give me Gaethje Chandler. Fuck it. Winner of that faces the winner of Poirier and Oliveira. I think the Conor, like, as much as I want to see Conor and Dustin 4, I think it should be done. Like, it doesn't make sense for the sport anymore.
I don't know what the hell happens with Justin. I guess he fights Michael Chandler.
That's what I mean. That's like the only fight that makes sense. That's what I say. Him and Chandler, and then the winner of that takes on the winner of Poirier and Oliveira. Like, I think the best case scenario is that Oliveira beats Poirier, Gaethje beats Chandler, and then you get Gaethje and Oliveira.
If you're Justin Gaethje, you're praying that Charles Oliveira wins, so then you can fight. You can fight
the title shot again, which I think he rightfully deserves. Because if it's Poirier, he's probably not getting the title shot.
The only reason that Gaethje didn't get that title shot, instead of Chandler, was because he didn't fight anyone since the last time getting the belt. Yeah, because it's weird if exactly. So you feel for Gaethje because he's one of the best fighters in the world.
He's a good guy. Another one of those people that are just like good people and like deserves this opportunity, but he's just not getting it.
But me myself, I want to see Poirier win the belt, and then I want to see Justin versus Dustin too.
Which would make sense, but
But they're gonna run Connor. But they're
Exactly.
gonna run Connor regardless. I think.
The best case scenario for Justin is obviously Dustin losing to Oliveira. But like, I think the best case for Dustin is obviously just keep on winning. So it's just kind of like it depends on who you're rooting for here to see what comes up next in the UFC. Like, if you want Dustin to keep on succeeding, then you want Dustin to win this next title fight so he gets another Conor McGregor match for the title.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a weird spot for the sport right now. For that division alone. The rest of them are not fun.
The lightweight division means the most in the UFC. It does.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to the heavyweight division. I don't like the heavyweight division personally.
It's cool.
Now it's cool because
Derek
Stipe
Lewis
no.
is fighting for the interim title right now.
Oh, that's
blows
so
my mind.
stupid. So stupid.
I don't understand that. But
So I think that one, Derek wanted the money.
Mhm.
Two, the UFC wanted. They needed a title fight on the Houston card, and he's obviously from Houston, so then that makes sense.
Derek Lewis is one of his.
It's not fair to Francis Ngannou the fact that you have an interim belt already.
Why is nobody fighting Ngannou right now? He's pretty rested. He won that fight pretty easily. Like, why are we not setting anything up there? I don't get it. Why is John Jones? Why are you not paying John Jones to get back in this? Like,
I don't think John Jones wants to fight. I don't.
He wants money.
John. Yes, but I also don't think he wants to fight.
I don't know.
He also shouldn't be on the pound for pound list, though, in my opinion.
He hasn't fought in 4 years?
Exactly. You might as well have Khabib still on there.
Yeah.
Realistically,
At least
even though he's
Khabib is
retired.
openly retired, though. So.
No, but what I mean is, John Jones hasn't fought since like 2 years ago now.
Is it 2? I thought it was more than that.
I don't know. It's been so.
I feel like the last year and a half has been 3 years, so it kind of extends your.
And he's been massively disappointing in the last 3 fights, 2 or 3 fights.
He hasn't had a good fight in like 7 years.
Since DC.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't understand why. Like, yeah, it might have a lot to do with John, but if it doesn't have a lot to do with John, like, why are you not just paying the man to just get you a fight? Like, there's lots of people around the league that want to see John Jones in the heavyweight division, and I would like to see him take a run at Ngannou eventually, if possible. But
I think what the UFC should do, is pay John Jones to fight someone not named Ngannou first in the heavyweight division. Let him fight, and then let him see how he is. It's going to be a huge draw still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but the thing I wanted to say about the Houston thing and the fact that Derek Lewis is fighting on it, I think it's stupid because the UFC was like, no, we want to create this fake belt because we don't want Amanda Nunes fighting as the title fight. It's like the best women fighter ever.
She's the best draw there is. Like,
and then you're not gonna have her headline? Like, what? She can headline. Get out of here.
I much rather watch Amanda Nunes kick the shit out of any woman in that division rather than watching fucking what's his name, Derek Lewis again
and Cyril Gane. No, you can put them on the card. They don't have to be the main event.
Yeah.
Talk about sexism, please. Like, Jesus.
It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. Who the fuck is in that division? Like, literally anyone in the top 10. Just give them to John Jones and see what happens.
Yeah.
John Jones, Curtis Blades, just for fun. Volkov.
2 wrestlers.
Yeah. Alex Volkov. Rosenstrike's another one that'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm. I think John dummies any of them, man. I really do. Just because
I think you got to make one of those fights just so like you have.
Blades is interesting. I think Blades is really interesting.
I think that's. I think you could have given John Jones either of Derek Lewis or Cyril Gane.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. I don't understand why this is not a thing yet. I don't understand.
Derek Lewis should be fighting Francis Ngannou, and Cyril Gane should be fighting John Jones. That's how it should be.
Yeah. One of them should have just got the title fight. Why are we having another belt?
Yeah.
The interim belt is the dumbest thing ever created. I don't understand it. It's just like to sell. It doesn't even sell.
It's to sell pay-per-view. It's to sell pay-per-views.
I'm not intrigued in the interim title.
No.
I don't get it.
What else do we have to talk about?
I wanted to mention what's his name, Sugar Sean. That fight was unbelievable.
Oh my god, that was awesome.
Oh my god. Shout out to the punching bag that is Brandon Mutino, because that was insane.
The dude got his face absolutely mashed in for 3 rounds, and it really shouldn't have went past the first round.
Like,
Did
The
you
fact
see
that
that?
he was standing never went down. I wouldn't have called
No.
it at that point. There's
No.
30 seconds left, just let him go. But the fact that he was standing for the entire fight, I'm like, you are a champion. Good for you. Never gonna win, but good for you for eating all those punches. He like set records for the amount of strikes thrown, and he just ate them.
Apparently Sean O'Malley broke both of his hands punching this guy in the face.
Oh, that's incredible, man.
Yeah. Extremely entertaining fight. Shout out to Chris Martino for just being a punching bag. And you got a free 75 grand for it.
Yeah, buddy.
Dana
You can't
White
complain
will
about
allow
that.
you
Like,
to do
you,
that.
you
Yeah.
did your thing. Tai Tuivasa. That was another one I wanted to
Oh,
mention.
awesome.
I am
Thank
very team Tai Tuivasa right now.
Oh my god. I was like, wow, Greg Hardy looks good. I'm pissed off because you're a giant piece of shit. Don't touch women. Don't beat women. Like, fuck you, Greg Hardy. I hope he's done in the UFC now. And oh my god, Tai Tuivasa's the greatest.
Legend.
This man is like 6'2", and he's getting. If we're doing all body contest here, Greg Hardy shits on him. And then this dude
Tai
knocks
Tuivasa
him
gives
out.
me hope to being a fucking athlete again. Just looking at him.
Yeah. Same body.
Oh my
like,
god.
And the fact that he gets hit by Greg Hardy, I'm like, oh, Greg might win. I don't like this. And then just starches him with one punch, gets on top of the cage, and starts drinking beers out of some random dude's shoe. The best. The dude did four. And then the last one, someone dumped Dustin Poirier's hot sauce in it.
That was like the second one he did. I'm like, oh, that's just. And then he does two more after that. I'm like, you're a fucking legend. I love you.
The best.
I'm very team Tai Tuivasa. That was so cool.
Is he the greatest fighter? No.
No.
But he's one of the most entertaining ones.
But he sells. Like, that's so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to butcher her name, but Irene Aldana.
Oh. Yeah. It was good.
She looked really good.
She looked really good.
She looks very primed to get her ass handed to her by Amanda Nunes at some point in her career. But I think she's looking like she may deserve a shot at some point soon. Like, she looked very good in that fight. Just connected clean. It was a really entertaining bout. It's tough because being in that division, it's like, you're primed to be the second best. You're never going to be the best in that division. Doesn't matter how hard you try. There's an absolute animal at the top of it. She doesn't seem like she wants to slow down.
Nope. Let's talk about some of the quotes that came out of Khabib's conversation he had with ESPN this week, because I think that they were genuinely good. He said if Conor and Dustin fight 100 times, Dustin's going to beat him 100 times.
Okay.
So you know how Conor still is chirping Khabib, right? He ran.
Yeah.
He said people know who is who, and basically that Conor's fake as fuck because you see how nice he was in January, and then now all of a sudden to try to get under Dustin's skin, this is how he acts. Right. He's saying that money and fame doesn't change who you are. It just brings out the real person. I was just like, damn, Khabib spitting.
Philosopher Khabib.
Yeah. Basically he's just saying like that the trash talk's stupid, that like first in mixed martial arts it's respect, and then he understands this is not to, it's not, well, like, 'cause the thing with Conor is talking about his wife isn't promoting a fight, that's just being a douche.
Yeah, but it creates the rivalry.
Okay, but also Khabib still sells. Khabib sells though.
Khabib never sold the way Conor sold.
Okay, obviously no one sells like Conor sells.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, it's tough to just be like, oh, it's not right, but like the guy knows what he's doing. I don't think Conor is that bad of a person, like, at heart, but he knows how to make money.
I think the best one was on Dustin Poirier. Mentally, I think he became better. Even when he lost to me, I think he learns from his I think from this loss he learned. After the Conor fight, he learned. Right now, I think it is his prime time.
Yeah, that's fair. That Poirier-McGregor fight comes in as the second highest pay-per-view numbers in UFC history.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. I didn't know that. I just looked it up to see like where. So Conor currently has number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9 in UFC history.
He can sell.
It's insane. Khabib has number 1 because it's got.
Yeah,
it's Khabib versus Conor was number 1, and then Khabib is just he's nowhere else. It sucks. Yeah. It sucks. But it is what it is, man. The guy knows how to sell fights.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. It's shitty to be on the other side of. Like, you don't want to deal with that as a fighter, obviously, because like there's better fights and there's more. Honestly,
I don't think that you need any of it though. Like, don't you think that the stuff that got Conor the attention that he did was okay? Obviously, he was brash and his bravado is like obviously apparent, but it wasn't attacking people's family. It wasn't doing.
No,
like
I think you might be right there. Like
it was saying I'm better than you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna kick the shit out of you.
Yeah, he went from like being cocky about himself to just like going after his opponent.
Like even the Aldo stuff, like that got super personal. But it was always I'm going after you. I'm not going after everyone around you. Yeah. That's where I think it's classless as shit.
Yeah, I thought Dustin was being a bit soft, and he's just like, oh, once he started talking about murder, I'm like, man, he said he's gonna kill you. Like, that's just, I don't know, that's not that. I wasn't too shaken up about that. I'd be more pissed off about the fact that he's bringing his family into that.
Okay, but did you hear? We didn't talk about it, but did you hear after the fight, like the alternate camera angles of saying, I'm gonna kill you and your wife in your sleep and shit?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fucked.
He's a piece of shit.
Honestly, I think he's just losing it mentally, but.
He is a senile man.
Yeah. He's a dangerous senile man, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, there's a reason he's still fighting some of the best in the division. Like, you can't put him with those mid-level guys because he can still fight.
But then again, put him with that and just get a bunch of wins. Like, that's what Khabib basically. Okay. Here's what Khabib said. He's like, you can go and fight a guy like Dustin. I'm paraphrasing here, and you can fight them and lose because you're not at that level anymore, or you can go fight guys like Cowboy and look great against them, sell fights, and that's good business. He literally said that's good business, but you're not that guy anymore. And he's like, and he basically said Conor has the age that he could be that guy, but not with the broken foot, and he thinks that because he's distracted by money and fame, he'll never be that guy. And I'm like, he's not wrong. Because he said basically that when fighters, they can't just fight during a training camp and prepare during them. They have to prepare all the time. Right. And he's right, especially when you want to be a champion fighter. Like you can't just show up for the 6-week training camp and be like, oh, I'm gonna.
I'd like to say he's more focused on fighting now than he was before. Like, I think he's kind of starting to come back into that Conor McGregor mentality. He sold his shares in Proper 12, did he not?
I think so.
I think like he has nothing left in that company. Like he's out of it. But like I think he's kind of coming back to the Conor McGregor that we saw. I think that last fight against Dustin was just like, it's a freak accident, man. It can happen to anyone. It happened to Anderson Silva at the top of his game. Like it can happen to literally anyone, but it just happened to be that it's at this time where you think he might be losing it, as opposed to he's near the top and he's one of the best there is. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think maybe he could come back and be 80% of what McGregor's been in the past. I don't think he's ever going to be that Conor McGregor that went on that run where he became the double champ and like did all that stuff. I don't think he'll ever be that Conor McGregor again. I don't agree with Khabib in saying that like he's not with those top guys anymore. I think he has the ability in him to be with those top guys. I think Dustin's just got his number at this point. But
I think so what he said was he doesn't have like the mentality to be that. And I don't like, how can, it's not just something that you can turn on and off. Like he's basically saying he's past his prime, which, I mean,
it's not wrong. He fought a lot.
He reached his stardom early, and then I mean, this is from Khabib, but this is like what a lot of other people are saying is basically, while Conor took time off, everyone's getting better. Conor was above everyone else, but everyone was getting better. Exactly, and Conor stayed the exact same.
worst thing Connor ever did was try to go to boxing. That just his career just got torpedoed right after that. Just changed his whole mindset. And hey, the guy makes more money than anyone. He was the highest paid athlete last year, so I can't knock him for doing it. If he wants to keep on being an idiot and just taking these fights and losing, it's his life. That's his choice. I don't think he cares about his his legacy at this point. I think he's just going out there to make as much money as he possibly can. He's taking fights while he can still take fights. It is what it is. I think he's going to lose his mind. I don't think he's got much left in that department, but what are you going to do?
Okay. What do we have next?
TFC?
Honestly, sure, I guess. So it came out that they're not playing now?
Not officially not playing. So it came out that...
Well, it just came out that the fact that Health Canada has just said, we haven't approved shit.
Oh. Okay.
So...
So if you didn't know, MLS... was it the MLS that announced that Toronto and Montreal are going to be playing at home this weekend? Because I don't know, but apparently it was just like only vaccinated players can cross the border. There's going to be only healthcare workers and or frontline workers and season ticket holders that are allowed to go. You're only getting 5,000 in Toronto or 7,500, something like that. And it was all good. It sounded like things are positive, and it's great news for the Jays too because they're right behind them. And then
that's really what we wanted to talk about. We have nothing to talk about with TSC. It's just
I didn't even know they were playing. So yeah, it was looking good for the Jays, and then the federal government said like, hold up, we haven't actually like the announcement hasn't been made. We haven't decided anything. And that was before they just said like, oh, no official announcement has been made yet. Now apparently they're saying like they haven't even made a decision. So that's doesn't bode as well for the Blue Jays as you'd hope. Soccer too. I
think it should be fine. By the 30th.
That's what I mean. Like we go into stage 3 in 2 days, right? It's the 16th that we go in. So you're telling me 2 weeks after that we won't be. We can't allow guys to stay at the hotel on site. Like the TFC one, it's a little different because they're just like, oh, we're
the
just
TFC one is 1 day.
Yeah, but like
it's
they're
not like
also
they're
saying
there.
like, oh, we're only going to bring in fully vaccinated people, whereas the Jays aren't proposing that. They want to bring everybody, but they're going to quarantine the people that aren't fully vaccinated, which I can understand where it's a tough decision to make as the federal government. However, you've already set the precedent with the NHL in saying that we're going to allow them to come over and back.
So you're going to give special exemption to hockey, but not to
which I think is
any
bullshit.
other sport. Bullshit.
But, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. Realistically, if you look at the situation, you look at what those players are going to have to do and where they would stay, it doesn't make sense as to why they can't come here. If fully vaccinated people can cross the border without having to quarantine, and they have a spot for the non-fully vaccinated people to quarantine, and they have their own fucking plane that they're traveling in on and out on, why do you care? All that it's doing is bringing money to your city. So what's the holdup on this? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Toronto's all for it. Ontario's all for it.
Yeah.
But I guess that's I don't know. They're concerned about the state of their province and their city, and then Trudeau, who knows what he's concerned with.
I think that they should allow the games, and then basically from there, just see in terms of how many fans you want to allow to go there to attend the games. Because like you should be thinking sport first and then fan secondary. Yeah. That's literally because
I don't care if we can't go. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing for them to come home.
I don't want the Blue Jays playing meaningful fucking games and there to be a stadium full of Yankees fans. Get out of here. Yeah. That is the worst.
Just let them come back to Toronto, where like even if we don't have fans, at least they're not fucking overrun by opposing fans.
Yeah.
Now, once you get here, I don't see any reason to not have fans, but. Just get them here.
Tampa won the Stanley Cup. That's cool, I guess. I don't know. Don't care.
Montreal fans are losing it. They're
If you squint,
finding
if
every
you can,
excuse in the book.
hey, listen, if you can squint hard enough at the TV, it's the Leafs.
Yeah, that blue and white team won it. It's if you're still complaining about them being $18 million over the cap, still to this day, it's been a week, 2 weeks almost.
Mm-hmm.
Stop.
I thought it was Ducharme was an interim coach this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did he only get a 3-year extension? He took your team to the Stanley Cup.
He's terrible.
Oh, I understand that, but if you're Ducharme,
he got an extension. He was not a good coach.
I agree. I don't know if he's a good coach or not. I have no idea.
COVID.
I have no idea if he's good or not. The point is, your team got to the Stanley Cup and you can only get 3 years out of it?
If it wasn't for Carey Price, him and Marc Bergevin would be out of a job today. I promise. Because the fact that Ducharme decided he wasn't playing Cole Caulfield in games 1 through 3 against the Leafs, not playing Kotkaniemi in game 1 and 2 against the Leafs, and not even playing Kotkaniemi against the Lightning, who was the leading scorer for them in the playoffs. And then he left Alex Romanov up in the press box, despite the fact that he was the only goal scorer in game 5 or 4, whatever it was, in Montreal. Like, just so many boneheaded moves. Thomas Tatar never played, despite the fact that they couldn't score goals, and he's one of your only offensive weapons.
One of your best players. He's one of the best wingers in the league.
And they sat him in the press box to continue not scoring. Like, I don't get it. He was a terrible coach. He did a terrible job in Montreal, but Carey Price got him a 3-year extension. It's insane. Carey Price got Marc Bergevin a GM of the Year nomination. Like, they owe him so much right now. It's ridiculous. It's a good thing they're paying him 10.5.
10 forever.
Till I die. It's insane, man. Blows my
Duncan
mind.
Keith got traded to Edmonton.
Yeah, they got fleeced so hard.
Who'd they trade? It was
Caleb Jones and a third.
Caleb Jones, yeah.
And a third. No money retained.
For a guy that's not good anymore.
Not good. Wasn't even the best available defenseman at the time, like just after he got traded.
Listen, isn't Chris Russell now a UFA? He's no longer on Edmonton. Well, you basically got Chris Russell. You just picked
up a more expensive Chris Russell. Like, it just makes no sense. And then, not to mention, Ryan Suter got bought out.
Oh no, Ryan Suter and Zach Parise.
But like Ryan Suter specifically has way better numbers than Duncan Keith, and you would have got him for free.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, because apparently the Wild are imploding right now. Kaprizov wants to go back to the KHL.
Yeah, and they offered him a 7-year deal worth 9 or 10 a year, I think it was. He said no because he wants a 4 to 5 year deal so that he can make more money down the road. Like, he thinks he's going to be a star in 4 to 5 years, so he wants a short-term deal.
Fair.
Yeah.
So do you think it's a negotiation? Do you think it's a negotiation ploy, or do you think it's he's actually going to go to the K?
I don't know why you'd go to the K. I think you're going to make more money here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And have more fame.
A lot of those Russian guys are really loyal to their country.
To Russia, yeah.
Ovechkin has straight up said like he wouldn't mind going back to the K. Like it's a possibility. Yeah. Like I could see him doing it. Whether or not it makes sense to me, I don't know. But I absolutely see him going back. So I don't understand their decision making. Like, what ran through your mind when you decided to take your 2 most expensive players and buy them out until, like, it hurts until 24, 25? Where's the thought process in that?
They're basically paying.
They're paying more than Connor McDavid. Just do nothing.
It's $15 million that they're paying.
14,745. So yeah.
The penalty is $15 million to save $10 million.
Yeah.
So $25 million.
You saved 10 this year.
So not having them on your team is worth $25 million a year, is what you're saying, right? If the math checks out.
So their dead cap hit next year is 4.743. So they saved $10 million to get somebody next year, just next year, like not future, but next year. Then the year after that, it goes up to 12.743, and then the year after that and the one following that is $14.743 million. So in those back 2 years, you could have afforded any free agent on the market, but instead you're paying it for two guys to play against you.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense?
No sense. No, it makes no sense. And apparently they're getting a trade offer ready for Jack Eichel.
How? I've heard that point too, but how?
With what? With what?
Apparently Marco Rossi and some firsts are potentially, but it doesn't make sense. You can have Jack Eichel next year, and then you have to get rid of Jack Eichel the year after that because you lose that $10 million, and you have to re-sign Kevin Fiala.
Mm-hmm.
So why? You're pushing all your chips in with a team that's not that good.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're backed by Devin Dubnyk. No, sorry, Cam Talbot.
No.
Cam Talbot, my bad.
Wasn't there that rookie? Wasn't there that rookie
Cackle
got hot for got hot for a
Cam
month?
Talbot played the playoffs. He was their goalie.
Exactly.
You're telling
Ask Edmonton how that goes.
Oh my God! You're telling me you're a championship level team with Cam Talbot in your net?
No, that's ridiculous. So here's a bit of news on the Canadiens. They won't protect Shea Weber in the expansion draft. Following the latest medical evaluations, he's having he has a thumb injury and he could miss the whole next season, and it could be longer. So then all the replies are, "Oh my God, they're pulling a Kucherov.
Yeah.
They're pulling a Kucherov."
See, the difference is they don't have the team around him to do that, and you're in a way better division next year. If I'm Seattle, I'd do it.
Oh, take Weber?
Yeah, why not?
If the cap implications aren't awful, because I know there's if Weber retires at some point, the recapture penalty on I think it's Nashville absolutely screws them. I don't know if that would change at all.
I don't think so because it didn't change
when Montreal traded.
Yeah.
I guess not. So I would take the shot on Weber because it's $8 million.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have the cap space right now.
Yeah.
He's a good leader. He's a good guy to have in your clubhouse for the first year.
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
I think that's it, right?
Yeah. Oh, Jeff Skinner was another name that he waived his no movement clause so that they don't have to protect him. That'll be an interesting one.
No chance Seattle takes him.
He's not gonna be taken. I don't even touch that with a 10-foot pole. The Florida Panthers asked Keith Yandel if he'd waive his no movement clause.
No, apparently they didn't even ask him.
No, because an hour ago apparently they reported that he did.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know unless
not that it matters.
Either way, he's not going anywhere. I don't think he's going to waive that.
No.
But I think it would be in his best interest to go to Seattle. Mm-hmm. Just because I don't think they want to play him in Florida.
Right.
So you might as well go somewhere where you can continue that Iron Man streak because there's not going to be 6 guys that make the Seattle Kraken that are better than you. I think it's safer for him, but I think that's it.
Alrighty. We'll be back next week. Hopefully Moro's alive. He's not dead, by the way.
He's not dead.
No. Maybe we'll let him have a rant for 5 minutes on. No soccer. It'll be 2 weeks removed. He'll just be talking to himself.
We'll just mute him.
Yeah. But we'll see you guys next time. Peace.